Hi everyone, and welcome back. With me is Neil Peacock. How you doing, Neil?
I'm
good to see you.
Good. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Yes, sir.
And so the Regional Transportation Plan update, that's currently underway, but I think you've reached a milestone on that. What's happening with that?
Yeah, we have. The milestone has been basically we've been working with the Stakeholder Advisory Committee for almost the last 2 years.
That's a long time.
It's quite a long time. We've gone through exhaustive analysis, and they provided us with recommendation on project priorities and policies to implement the new transportation plan. And basically now it's time for me to sit down and finish writing the thing. Hopefully the administrative draft will be finished by the end of the month. That's a first glance at it as a single document so that we can release it to the Commission and the public.
Okay, usually when you're here we've been talking about the Pine Grove bypass.
Sure.
I imagine that's in there somewhere, but basically we're talking about the other areas. So what do we have going on? I believe we have Prospect Motors, the extension there.
Yep.
Right. And what else?
Well, the regional transportation plan encompasses everything.
So we have Prospect Motors. It's Prospect Drive.
Right.
It goes from there, but
right.
where it hooks, where that road needs to hook into by Walgreens. Correct?
Yes, sir. That's right. And there's a bunch of those kinds of roadway improvements. And in the new transportation plan, we're also incorporating alternative strategies like the new Sutter Hill Transit Center and Teleconference Center that we're building. So a couple of the roadway projects you might be familiar with would be, for example, 88 and Argonaut, an improvement at that location there. And yes, we will be carrying forward some of the previous plans projects, like you mentioned, Pine Grove, and roadway improvements over at Ione and Plymouth and here in Jackson. So the whole point here is that the RTP guides all of our investments over the next 20 years.
Okay, are you having a hard time looking out 20, 30 years and making the projections on what the traffic's going to be like?
It can be a challenge. Certainly that's our job. The long-range planning for tomorrow's infrastructure needs has to happen today. And hopefully we're close to the mark, but a lot of this is an art as much of a science. So we take a look at how much a building we anticipate and what kind of building, single-family residential versus commercial, over that 20-year horizon based on city and county general plans. And then we take a look at the traffic that's going to be generated from that planned development. These are all adopted by the cities and the county in terms of the development that they want to see. Okay. And then we know what the traffic is going to be on the roads that we're going to have to accommodate. Then the next challenge is figuring out how to fund those improvement needs.
I'm a little curious, so when you look out there with using, I won't say a crystal ball, but basically it sounds like it's got to be a crystal ball. Where does it seem like we might start getting some growth?
Well, you know, it's interesting you mentioned crystal ball, because it's like, as I mentioned, it's as much of an art as a science. You know, and growth is forecast to happen throughout the county. A lot of our, for example, if you think of transit service, we anticipate a lot of our transit transportation investments to happen within developed communities, so we can maximize the bang for our buck in terms of...
Does that mean the buses?
Yeah, yes, sir, exactly, the buses. And we know where the priority locations are throughout the system, where development is feeding in from the Sutter Creek and Jackson and Ione, and they're all creating these bottlenecks throughout the system.
Okay. Are we getting any headway with what's considered maybe the last mile with the buses? In other words, buses kind of take you to, you know, a drop-off point like right out here in front of TSPN.
Yeah.
But how do I get the extra mile home?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, that one is always going to be a challenge for transit. I'd refer you to Carlett Myers, the transit manager, to speak more specifically to transit challenges. But it's always been a long-standing challenge to make transit as cost-effective as possible. And one of the challenges in doing so is those extra miles to get out to those extremely isolated or rural locations where you have such a low ridership, but the cost of running your bus is still the same. Right. So, but that question that you ask is we face from a regional perspective in terms of all of our transportation needs: aviation, goods movement, freight and trucking, the roadways, bicycle, pedestrian, transit. It's all of this challenge of doing that long-range planning. So today we can start employing the strategies necessary to meet those needs as effectively and efficiently as possible.
Okay, so where are the shovels going to be working next?
Okay,
well, we carry
things. Yeah. Well, we do carry the old plan forward. So As I've come on here and spoken before, we're currently working on the Pine Grove project up on State Route 88. That is moving forward slowly but surely, like many transportation projects.
And that's many years out.
That's years out. Right here, right now, you're going to be seeing, hopefully, going to construction this summer, the Prospect Bowers realignment project that you referred to.
Right.
And we are... a lot of these projects are actually multi-year endeavors, so we're working in partnership with the City of Jackson, for example, on the Sutter Street extension to connect a signalized intersection at 88 and Sutter Street. And a lot of these projects take environmental clearance and engineering and right-of-way acquisition, and it's a slow road. Another example of a project that's coming online here is Court Street in 88. You'll be seeing that taking place shortly. And so one of the things you'll read in the regional transportation plans is a section called Accomplishments. What have we gotten done since the 2004 RTP? What are the challenges that we're facing now, and what is the strategy that we're going to employ to meet those challenges?
Okay, so funding, it sounded to me like maybe different cities, Jackson and Ione, are contributing monies or to other projects. So it sounds to me like everyone is cooperating to pick whatever the highest priorities are and then work on those. Is that what we're seeing here?
That is right. That's a really fair characterization. You know, one of the things that we're lucky to have here in Amador County is a strong team, I would call it personally, among all of our member agencies. Again, the ACTC is made up of the city and the counties, and we're all pitching in to leverage each other's funding to get our priority projects done. So we have a really good team spirit, and we work through our differences when they come around, and continue to make progress and move forward.
Okay. Now I have a question. I asked it a little bit to Richard Forster. I'm not sure if he cleared it up or whatever. But, you know, the regional traffic mitigation fee, you know, increased for single-family residents and decreased for high-volume commercial. And somehow that sounds a little counterintuitive to me, because if more people are at the high-volume commercial areas, isn't there more traffic? Isn't that how we base fees? If not, how do we base our fees?
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting. The advisory committee, again, made up of the cities and the county, said to us, the ACTC staff, hey, we want to look at this issue of commercial development. We'd like to help generate jobs and promote economic development. Is there a way for us to legally lower the fees for commercial development, and if so, give us an idea? And we did that through demonstrating that there's a reasonable relationship with residential development, i.e., new housing creates a need, a proportionate need based on various calculations for that commercial, and hence the ability to shift a portion of the fees from one land use category to another. And that was accomplishing
so when you buy a house, you have to pay the fee to have the new store go in.
Because you need it. That's the basic rationale. Yeah, there's a bunch of technical calculations involved, but that's the basic rationale that we use to accomplish their objective.
Okay, we have to run.
Okay, thank you again for having me.
We'll have you back again sometime soon. Okay.
Absolutely.
And stay with us right here on TSPN. We'll be right back after this break.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.